The following podcast is recommended for mature audiences only. The following podcast is recommended for adults only. Maturity is not a requirement.
Hello and welcome to episode 11 of Dear Download, a podcast where we get to share our most intimate and treasured memories of Download Festival. We'll talk about each year, the bands we saw, the bands we missed, and everything else noteworthy that happened across the weekend. Also, we'll touch upon any news, other festivals, and the music industry past, present and future. This week is part 2 of our Roadrunner Records special. I almost said Roadrunner United again then. I'm Adam, and of course I'm joined by Simon.
Hello, good day.
Hello, how's it going, man?
Yeah, not bad.
Good.
I have one thing to say instantly. I listened back to the last episode.
Yeah.
Why was I swearing so much?
I don't know.
I must have said the F word 30 times.
Really? I didn't even notice. I'm going to have to listen to it again as well now.
It was mental. So if you listen to the last episode, I apologise. I never swear that much. I think I know why, because I was really excited about the subject matter.
Yeah,
and it was making me... I was just swearing all the time because I was so excited. I was just like, I don't know. So I apologise. There'll only be a couple of Fs in this that I won't be able to think up, but I will certainly be watching it because I was just thinking, imagine like if people really liked us and they thought, oh, you know, we might want to give them a slot on something or whatever. They would be like, these guys are never going to be able to keep the swears in, especially Simon. So from now on, I'm really limiting the swears. There will still be a few, but I apologise because it probably won't annoy anyone else, but it annoyed me.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry. I won't
fair.
swear as much.
Yeah, I didn't even notice it.
Okay, good. It was probably just me, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
I think I use the F word quite a lot, but it's just part of my vocabulary. Like, it's what I say when I'm thinking of something, so there's no silence, I think.
Just say the F word. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. You know, like we said before, you know, we do have a few swears here and there, but I mean, that was ridiculous. So I'm sorry. I let the podcast down.
Cool.
It will be nice today, I promise.
Cool. Well, I'm going to make sure I do this today because I forgot about it last episode. How has your stream been going the last couple of weeks?
Yes, good. It feels like Half-Life is a never-ending game because I done part 4 on Twitch yesterday, and now I'm right on the last level, and I ran out of time, and I didn't really want to stay on any longer. So I think like next week, the game's going to last for like an hour maximum. Then I'm going to have 2 hours, so I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know. I got Fallout New Vegas, which is the next game I'm going to play because it's what I've always wanted to play, and everyone who likes the Fallout games is always like, oh yeah, Fallout New Vegas was so sick. Excuse me. So that's next on the list. But yeah, I don't know. Next week, I don't know. I might maybe make a tune with people on.
Yeah.
I've been listening to a lot of like Vangelis and Tangerine Dream and loads of like synthy, really weird stuff. And I do stuff like that all the time. But I might make some live and see how it comes out and do that for 2 hours instead of the gaming and then start that the next time. But yeah, sorry, I'm babbling. Yes,
awesome. Yeah,
it's been very
cool.
good, very well. Loads of people coming in I don't know.
Yeah,
talking about
good.
Half-Life and doing stuff, and then some of my friends have been on there, like chatting to each other on there while I'm playing. So it's good. I'm really starting to get a good flow now, even though I've only done 4 streams. But I'm enjoying it. But
yeah, that's good. Yeah, I mean, I think that's all you need. Just a couple of people just to interact with you a little bit to make it fun, and then so you can interact back. Just makes it worth it, you know. So that's cool.
That's great. And I've got 10 followers on Twitch now.
Awesome.
Yes, that's a good start. I was happy with that. I was like, sweet, 10 people. That's wicked.
Cool.
After 4 after 10, you keep going 10 up. That's pretty good, man.
Anything else since the last time we spoke?
Blah, 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 blah. No, not. Although I did actually. I done a lot of driving today, so I stuck on a lot of albums. I thought, because we were talking about albums you haven't listened to in ages.
Yeah.
I thought I put on some albums I haven't listened to in ages. So, Kings of Leon, Only by the Night. I hadn't heard that in years, so I put that on. It was awesome.
Cool.
Then I listened to Come Clarity by In Flames.
Oh, Yeah, nice.
And that was awesome. I haven't listened in ages. I love In Flames, but I don't know why. Some albums I just don't listen to regularly.
Yeah.
And that was one of them. I put that on and I was like, fucking yes. And Behind the Devil's Back by Fightstar, the last Fightstar record, I was like,
Okay.
fucking hell. Why am I not listening to this album? So I listened to those 3 today in the car, and that was awesome. Just listening. Oh, and Temper Trap Conditions. I'd done 2.5 hours driving today, so
Yeah.
I had plenty of time to listen to some albums. But it was good to catch up on some old stuff that I hadn't heard in a while. Because sometimes you forget how good stuff is, but then sometimes you listen to stuff and you go, it's not as good as I remember.
Yeah, yeah.
But the ones I listened to today, I was like, I'm glad that these albums are still good.
Yeah. Awesome. I listened to quite a few that I said I would last episode
Nice.
as well. I'll go into them after, well, a little bit later, I think.
Okay. All right, sweet.
But I might be changing my job role, so I might be applying for like a driving job in Royal Mail, which is well, I mean, it's not just driving; it's delivering parcels from a van. But it's beneficial for me, apart from 2 ways. And one of them is I won't have as much time to listen to music and podcasts and stuff, which will suck. But it's, like I said, it's beneficial in lots of other ways. So
well, I suppose driving, you do get to listen to stuff. So you will, but like you said, if you're doing deliveries, it'll...
Yeah, I'll be
Is it for Parcel Force or Royal Mail?
No, for Royal Mail, yeah. But it's pretty much the same thing. I'll be getting in and out of the van every couple of minutes. So, yeah, hopefully, I mean, I've got to apply for it and I might not even get it. But, yeah, the other way is I might put some weight on if I'm not walking sort of 10 miles a day. So, yeah, but I'll have a bit more energy in the evenings.
The steps you must do must be ludicrous.
Yeah, yeah. I pretty much walk a marathon every 2 days.
Mental.
Yeah, but
Mental.
like I said, every now and then I'll put a little bit of weight on, and it doesn't really last. And I think to myself, well, if I didn't have my job, if I wasn't walking that much, it would just keep coming on. It would just keep going, and I have to do something extra to.
Yeah, but you'll be getting out and delivering. You'll still be like, sort of walking around and doing all that sort of stuff. So you still be active. So I think it will be fine.
Yeah, cool. What else? I did write a couple of things down. It's not been as long since we recorded this time because
no.
Next week I'm on holiday for my son's fourth birthday, so it should be the editing week next week. But there's no way I can do editing while I'm on holiday. So yeah, we're recording a little bit early, so it's not been as long. It's not been quite the 2 weeks. So
no,
yeah, as you can imagine, not as much has happened. But I did see a guy in a supermarket the other day. I thought it was quite funny. So he was stood in the meat aisle, and I thought he had a massive. What? No, I thought.
Oi!
So he had a massive Wagons t-shirt on.
Oh, nice.
I don't really know much about them, but I know they're sort of alternative. A lot of people in the alternative scene knows and likes them. When I first saw the t-shirt, I thought it said Massive Vegans. And I thought it was quite funny he stood in the meat aisle wearing a Massive Vegans t-shirt, but no, it was Massive Wagons.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I thought that's something I have to write down to
You're
say.
in the wrong section, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, Massive Wagons. I've never really listened to them.
No, me either.
I'm pretty sure I've seen them on the Download lineup a couple of times.
Yeah.
As well. Like, I couldn't even tell you what they look like. I'm just getting a picture up now.
No, but
they look like exactly what you would imagine a band like Massive Wagons to look like.
With that name, I would say they're probably bluesy. But I don't know.
Yeah. I reckon that they're rocky and the strings like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you reckon?
Who do I hear?
I'll check them out later and actually see if that's right or not.
I listened to a band the other day, and I was like, "This is definitely." It's just like, they gone. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Oh, Ultra Bridge. Who was it? Was it? I can't remember. It's been a long day. Yeah. So the bands that I've listened to that I said I would, El Nino
Yes.
I thought it was revolution. I didn't realize the second word was a different word. But the way you were saying it last time was revolution.
Yeah.
I exaggerated that bit there, but yeah. So yeah, I didn't know it, but it was good. I really enjoyed it, but I think I really enjoyed it before.
Man.
I think I did.
It's great.
Always used to like it, but just it wasn't the sort of thing I would just put on very much. So,
do you know what? The quickly, sorry, just to break that up. Massive Wagons have 87,000 listeners on monthly listeners on Spotify, so they're doing quite well for themselves.
Yeah.
Just like you were saying about Il Nino, the album after is really good as well. But I'm just looking at the name, Confession.
Okay.
That's a good album as well.
Yeah.
And I've only heard bits after that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm in America right now. I think in America booked for next year. It was cancelled. There's the Brothers in Arms tour. It's Drowning Pool, Il Nino, and Head PE.
Oh.
And I thought, fuck me, that would be a fucking awesome tour.
Yeah.
Like, that would be amazing.
Hey, you've played with Head PE, haven't you?
Yeah, I have. Yeah. That's. I said to
awesome
to the missus the other day. She's like, you know what? I haven't quite got as far with music as I thought I would.
Right.
I'm obviously not as talented as I thought I was, or I just haven't been in the right band.
Yeah.
But that's the one point that I got to, and I thought, I'm going to try again. You know, like, this is my last ditch effort in this band, and after that, I can't be. I'm just going to make all my music by myself. But yeah, it was so surreal. Like, for my 18th birthday, I went to Camden and bought a Head PE CD. Like, I'd been watching them for so long and meeting Jared at Singer and all the rest of the band all at like the gigs and getting t-shirts and tickets signed. Yeah. And then I'm just backstage with them playing a gig and I have to act professional. It was really hard not to just like fanboy out and just be like, you know, you guys have been like one of my favorite bands for like 20 years. Like, yeah. It was so surreal. Like, if anyone ever gets to do it or anyone has do it, I'm sure they'll tell you like how, like, when we had Adam Leader from In Search of Sun on, and he said how weird it was that like Monkey from Korn was just sitting over there eating potatoes.
Yeah.
And he's like, it takes like a while for your brain to sort of fathom what's actually happening, because you see these people in the magazines and the CDs and all that, and all of a sudden they're like standing next to you. You're like, colleagues. Like, fuck, so weird. But yeah,
that's
so
awesome.
Yeah, that's still like the height of my musicianship. But yeah, so sorry, I went off on one there. Yeah. But do you know what I was going to say? We just don't get the tours that America do. Because I mean, obviously, me and you like a lot of metal, alternative bands and stuff. And there's quite a lot of them that are American. Like now, I think it's Static X, Dope, Fear Factory, and someone else touring together. And it's just like, well, where are these tours?
Yeah.
Why are they getting these tours constantly? We don't get them. Like, that's insane. Like, mental. That's like festival lineup, but just on a tour.
Yeah.
But they're so. I don't think Americans realise how lucky they are with their tours, because I'm always looking at them just going, I can't believe these bands are playing together. But I guess it's, you know, we're in the same country, it's a lot easier.
And you know they'd sell out over here though as well, like because of the bands they are. You know, there are some bands like we said about Saliva before who are playing smaller venues because they never made it big over here. You know, even though I think they're quite a big band in America. But
yeah, oh god, they've got a shitload of monthly. They've got like 2 million monthly listeners on Spotify. There's a hell of a load of people that listen to them. You know, they're a big band, but like you said, it depends where you're big.
Yeah,
they could play a huge place in America and play a small place here, and I think that happens with a lot of American bands. It doesn't. Some stuff, either that when we're going to be talking about a label, either the label hasn't marketed it for there, or people in that country just don't get it. Yeah. And that's bound to happen with music. It's different trends everywhere. And the American scenes, you know, I know a lot of the bands can come over here and play fine, but it is quite different the way it works to the British scene. So
yeah, and we've spoken about I'm not sure if it was on the podcast, a band that most of them were from here who never made it big in England. They made it big in America. They toured with Linkin Park. Yeah, I think they went on the Family Values tour. But nobody really knew who they were over here.
Well, the band Bush is a prime example of that. Bush are a British band.
Yeah.
Quite big over here, absolutely huge in America.
Are they?
They sell out giant places, and they could not sell them out here.
Yeah.
Oh, they would sell them out, but they'd be a lot smaller. And obviously, they're originally a British band, but now they've moved to America. They don't even live here anymore.
Yeah.
But they started off as a British band just because they were so big over there, and that's where they made their money. So, yeah, I mean, we keep saying this on the podcast, but it could be another idea for another episode of the podcast. Bands that have got big in weird places or aren't big in their countries, or we could do a whole list of that.
Yeah.
That stuff.
Well, why don't we talk about it now? I was going to save this for the end of the episode.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine.
Tangent has brought things forward.
No, no, it's fine. Of like where we're going to go, because I was basically going to put it in a bit of next week. We will talk about and then have a bit of a chat there. But there's one thing you said on the last episode that really stuck with me, and it was and you said bands don't make any money anymore. And every time I heard that, like while editing or listening back to it, it really stuck in my head. And I was like, why? Why don't bands make any money anymore? And we said we'd look into crowdfunding if bands have done that. But I think we should just do like a mini series of and just ask just with that question: how do bands make money these days? And cover all sorts of record deals that people have people on who have gone through it, who have been signed, how much money they got, how long would it have taken them to actually start making any money. Because I was thinking we'd do like one episode about record labels, one episode about crowdfunding, but we could do more than that. I'm sure we'd get loads of people who want to come on. So.
Oh, yeah, gotcha. It's a great subject because it's relevant as well, because the music industry, even the last 10 years, has changed so much.
Yeah. Or cover bands. Cover bands make probably a lot more money than originals bands do.
Oh my God. If you're a small band and you're in a covers band and then you're in a band that plays their own stuff, most definitely you make more money in a covers band.
When in the covers band I was a sound guy for, they were charging £250 a gig. And it was just local pubs around here, that was it. It's crazy.
When you're in like a local band playing originals, it's very rare you make money. I remember the first time when we played in Second Self 2 years ago, someone put money in my hand and I was like, what is this for? And they're like, yeah, well, the place was packed tonight. There's your money. And I was like, what do you mean money?
Money. Yeah, nice.
It's like, we've made money from this? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
It is weird, yeah.
Yeah, we did we did a New Year's Eve one night and we charged £750 and a bottle of Jack Daniels each.
Oh my God.
And I think because of that was the downfall of the band. Because of that, they wanted to go into weddings, and a lot of wedding bands around here charge £1,000. And they
had, that's probably pretty cheap.
Yeah, they had pound signs in their eyes because of that, and wanted to sort of make it into a proper business, and it fell apart because they, tried pushing too much. I think should have just stuck with having fun and getting paid for it.
Yeah, that's the thing, people. When you're in a band, got to keep the fun there. Otherwise, there's absolutely no point. Anyone in a band will tell you that.
Yeah.
No point in doing it unless you're enjoying it.
Yeah. Oh, but I was going to say that I know of two bands. There's only one of them that I can think of the name of, who I'm pretty sure started as a cover band. They play all the pub circuits, like the cover band pub circuits, and I think they do their own stuff now. And they got massive because of it. I'm pretty sure they can charge whatever they want. A band called Stop Stop. I don't know if you ever heard of them.
Okay, never heard of them. No.
I think they've come over from Germany. I think they might be German, but yeah, they're huge in Bridgewater. Like, everybody knows them, and they've made it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they've made it into the original band's sort of gigs. Obviously, because they're so big, everyone wants to book them to get the people in. So
oh, that's cool.
There's another band, I can't remember what they're called, Rude Tiger, I think, maybe. But yeah, they did exactly the same. Started as a pub band, was charging money for it because that's what pub bands do. Converted to their own music, and they can, they've got the name for themselves then, so they can still charge whatever they want.
Well, that actually reminds me of at Bloodstock, there was a covers band.
Yeah.
Called the Punk Rock Factory.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic. They just played punk, pop punk and rock versions of theme songs and 80s stuff and that. And it was fantastic. Everyone was literally having a blast. And like you said, it's a covers band.
Yeah.
And they're playing at a major festival. So I suppose you can make it being a covers band if you put your certain spin or edge on it.
Yeah.
I think there's probably room for growth in there because people like hearing different versions of songs that people have already made. So
Yeah.
well, you can see that, some covers get massive.
Yeah.
Sometimes songs get redone and the cover gets played more than the original.
Yeah.
That happens a lot.
Yeah. And there's here where the biggest, so I suppose it's like a festival, but it's a small festival, and it's just covers bands for the whole weekend. And
I saw that. I saw the post and I was like, wow, that looks incredible.
Yeah. I think, what do they charge? I think is it £25? £25 a day, or maybe £15 a day? No, it's £25 a day, or 45 for both days. They do it Saturday and Sunday.
Nice.
And they probably have like 5 or 6 bands on each day, and it's everyone goes to it. It's massive. So I bet those bands are charging a lot of money, because they'll probably be booked for lots of little festivals like that around the country.
Cool idea, man. I just thought actually we should do we should write these down, because we come up with like 5 ideas for different episodes, like everything, and I haven't I'm going to start writing them down. Top 10 metal covers. Our top 10 metal covers.
Yeah.
We'll do a top 10, me and you, and we'll compare notes again. I feel that's the best way we do top 10s, and learn a little bit from each other about each other's taste and stuff.
I like that.
That'll be cool.
I've written it down.
Yeah. Boom! That means it's definitely going to happen.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was just going to say, it depends when you want to do that sort of little mini series. So we've got 3 episodes before Christmas. So we've got 2 normal episodes, and I assume we're going to do some kind of Christmas special.
Oh, most definitely we have to do a Christmas special.
I was hoping to get Andy Copping on for the Christmas special, but we're probably not quite big enough. I don't know. We could just email him and say, like, do you know what? You're not doing much at the moment. It's not festival season. Come and have a go with us.
Do you know, I honestly think if we keep going as we are, and we keep putting out like podcast, people will start to go, especially we're out of festival season now. Once people start Googling Download, looking at Download, wanting to listen to things about Download, we'll probably get more ears coming to us, and then hopefully people will stay and listen to the non-download stuff as well as the download stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think we'll get there. I think now we wouldn't have a chance, but I think by the time festival season comes around, I think it might be honestly a possibility, because he goes on a lot of other people's podcasts I've never heard of before. So
yeah, and it's usually around Download before to promote it. But
yeah, exactly.
We're all about Download, so we want him on whenever, anytime, whenever you're not busy, Andy.
True. Yeah, just come on.
I'm sure he's listening. Yeah,
I'll stop swearing. I've stopped now.
Cool.
I've only said shite once and F once this episode so far. So, oh yeah,
cool. I think that was everything I wanted to talk about and a bit more.
I got one more thing quickly to say.
Cool, go for it.
The new Cradle of Filth album, Existence is Futile, is the best Cradle of Filth album in 20 years.
Is it? Awesome. Writing it down.
I'll talk about it in more detail another time. But in my eyes, it's the best Cradle of Filth album since Midian. If you're a Cradle of Filth fan and you haven't checked it out yet, it is unbelievable. And it's fans and critics love it. So
awesome.
Go and listen.
Sounds good. I'm going to listen to it tomorrow. You just reminded me. I haven't listened to too many new stuff because that we've spoken about on here, because I've been obsessed with Dream Theater's new album.
Okay. Oh, sweet.
What an album it is.
Nice.
Loving
What's it called?
I don't know.
Okay, just a new album. That's fine.
Hang on. I'll find it. Between a Rock and a Hard Place, something like that. Or is that just what the album cover looks like? Just getting me Spotify up.
It's all right. I'm doing it now, dude.
I could have Googled it. It would have been quicker.
It is A View from the Top of the World.
Oh, close. Oh, yeah, but look at the album
it is
cover.
A rock between two rocks. So yeah, I get you. Yeah,
So
A View from the Top of the World.
Oh, it is good. The second song, fucking amazing. I know what it's called. I don't remember what it's called.
It's called Answering the Call.
Answering the Call. Yes, that's the one. Oh, goodness. See, that's the problem. Because I listen to it at work, if I want to know what a song's called, I have to get my phone out, unlock it, get Spotify up. I want to get a smartwatch so I can just look at it.
Oh, that'll be cool.
Quite often I'll just put random playlists on as well. and it'll be bands that I've never heard of. So I can just look at it and go, oh yeah, who's this?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because it's a pain getting my phone out every time.
Yeah, that is annoying. Yeah, the
Yeah.
watches are awesome, especially like you said, if you can see just the Spotify, just who's playing.
Yeah.
So cool.
One more thing as well, actually, I remembered after you said there's one more thing for you. These evil bands that are doing the rounds. Have you seen them? The memes?
No?
Well, we talked about how the internet can be a horrible place. The internet is also a fantastic place. I love the internet. Just because of the
definitely.
humour. You find something new that's funny all the time, and you think, why has nobody come up with this before? But yeah, people are doing like pictures of bands, but they are inverting it. Is that what it's? I don't know what it is. Where you sort of it's like negative and everything's like black
like
and
a
blues.
negative version. Yeah.
And they're saying like evil bands, and so the first one I saw was evil Metallica, and underneath he's saying no instead of yeah.
Oh, it's so good. That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look for these because that sounds awesome already.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, they're amazing.
I'll check them out, man.
Cool. Shall we get Ronnie in here?
Go on, Ron.
Oh, go on, Ron.
Sing us in, mate.
Sing for me, devil!
Thank you, Ronnie. Thanks, Ronza. Right, shall I take back over again?
Yeah, go for it.
Right. Welcome to part 2 of our Roadrunner Records special. If you haven't already heard it, please go back and listen to part 1. We ran through loads of stuff about the history of the label, who's currently on it, albums that have been really, really a massive part of building sort of metal and alternative genres themselves, and some albums that I absolutely love from the label. So we're going to talk about a few other points today. But is there anything you want to comment on from the last episode, just in general, about what we spoke about? Is there anything you want to add or say, or anything put something in you that you want to say, or? No,
nothing that comes to me at the moment, actually.
Okay, good. Yeah, I think actually listening back, I think we went into quite a lot of detail. I thought we covered a lot of it quite well. So
yeah, I said I listened to El Nino today. I did actually skip ahead and listen to their latest album, which was 2014 as well, just to see the difference in sound. There wasn't much. Yeah. It was okay, but they have actually released a song this year as well.
Oh, okay. Damn, I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah.
I'll check that out. Yeah, I always like whatever they do, so I'm up for that.
What else did I check out? I can't remember what I checked out that we spoke about last week. I think, I started listening to Bitterness the Star today.
Yeah.
I wasn't overly keen, but I think I wanted to listen to something else after that as well.
Oh, okay.
Higher Power didn't last a song.
No. What? Didn't last a song? Their songs are like 3 minutes long.
Yeah. I was probably wanting to listen to something else. I will give them another chance. I didn't listen to any Trivium. Oh, I did. Oh my God, this is. I did consult an expert about Sempiternal album. I completely forgot to say it at the beginning of the show. Shall I say it now and put it at the beginning?
No, you can just say it now.
Okay.
It's fine.
So it was quite funny. It was going to be not a short story either, but there's a new girl in work, and she didn't know where the certain frame was, so she asked me, and I said, "Oh yeah, I'll show you where it is." Showed her, went to leave, and she was wearing a Sempiternal hoodie.
Nice.
And I recognised it because of the album cover. If it was any other album cover, I wouldn't have had a clue, but it's just because it's just little circles and patterns.
Symbol. Yeah.
So I was like, "Oh, is that Bring Me the Horizon?" And she was like, "Yeah, you're a fan." I was like, "No." That was funny in itself.
Great stuff.
So I was talking to her and said I had to listen to that album once to sort of see if it got any similarities with Raunchy. So I had to explain about the podcast and why I was listening to it. So I said, "Hang on, I'm going to ask you. Why don't you listen to this Raunchy album and tell me what you think? Because you obviously know the Sempiternal album." And this was like a week and a half ago. She didn't listen to it until yesterday. And every time I asked her, she was like, Oh, I haven't listened to it yet. I lost the slip of paper that you wrote on, and I was there thinking, does she care? Is she thinking like, I don't want to fucking listen to this album?
Yeah, leave me alone.
Yeah, it's like I've had it. I've seen people do it, and it's always awkward when someone's talking to you about something they're passionate about, and you're going, oh yeah, that's cool, and then the dreaded words, do you want to borrow it? And you're like, oh fuck, I don't want to borrow it, but I can't really say no. And they just bring it to you the next day, and like, oh, really awesome.
Oh, great, thank you.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was like that with this Raunchy album. So I was like, after yesterday, I was like, right, I'm not going to hassle her anymore about it. I'll wait for her to come to me. And she did come to me today, and this is a really long-winded way of getting to this. She said, oh, I started listening to it. I can see the similarities. She was going to listen to the rest of it today, but yeah, she can see where you're coming from, because I couldn't. I couldn't really hear it.
Well, it's actually the later bit of the album, like from halfway down.
Okay.
It's really gets very, very. There's just everything. They use like some synthy stuff.
Yeah.
The way he sings, the guitars, literally, it's it's crazy. I went at some of the songs, I was like, what? This is so long before. I said it's bound to happen in music where people, sound similar and shit. So yeah.
Yeah, maybe she was bullshitting me then. Maybe she didn't listen to it, just saying whatever she could to get me off her back. Like,
well, there you go. We've got our comments now, so.
Yeah. Sorry. I've been looking forward to talking about that after asking her for ages. And then I just completely forgot to say it at the beginning of the episode.
So have you actually listened to Sempiternal?
I did, yeah. A few
Did you
weeks
not
back
like
now.
it?
No. And I didn't
So
think
surprised. It's such a good record.
I've been getting adverts on Facebook for it as well, because I've listened to it once and we've spoken about it around my phone.
I mean, it's old now. It came out in 2013.
Yeah.
So it's I forget that every time I listen to it. I'm like, fuck me, this album's quite
Well,
old
it's not
now.
adverts. It's not adverts for it, but it's like suggested pages that have put a meme up about it or something like that. I'm like, I don't care. Why is this suggested to me? But we've been talking about it more now, so it's going to give me more.
Okay, we'll stop. We won't say the S word again. Let me just open my window.
Cool.
All right, so where were we? Sorry. Typical Dear Download podcast. Going off on one again.
You asked me a question, and I fucked off somewhere else.
No, you answered the question perfectly. So there you go. Yeah, so last time we left it, we just went through some albums and stuff that were really, really great for the label. And one of the subjects we talked about was artists selling a lot of records. Now, some of these two facts are actually... So the biggest selling... Do you think you could name me the two biggest selling Roadrunner Records artists?
Oh, artists. Not albums, just artists.
No, just artists. So just general sales.
Well, the top one's got to be Slipknot.
Okay.
And the second one, after what you said, the second one's probably Nickelback.
You've hit the nails on the head there.
Okay, I don't know if I would have guessed Nickelback. Well, I didn't even know they were on Roadrunner, but it's because of some things you said.
Who do you think sold more?
I would say Slipknot probably sold more, but because of that question again, it's probably not.
Okay, so Slipknot sold over 30 million records with Roadrunner, which is a staggering number for a metal band.
Yeah.
That's insane. But Nickelback have sold over 50 million albums worldwide.
Jesus.
Which is crazy. I mean, they sell out stadiums. I mean, I know Slipknot can sell out arenas, but Nickelback are on another level with sales and gigs. I mean, absolutely. They've always been on my list of a band to see, but I've just never got around to seeing them, unfortunately. That's probably my own fault more than anything. But yeah, and that's just the top two. I mean,
yeah.
If we talked about how many successful bands have been on this label, I couldn't find any other statistics anywhere of sales or anything. I did have a good look, but I'd love to see those numbers because I couldn't honestly tell you how many records this label has sold. It must be a hell of a lot.
Yeah,
a hell of a lot.
That is interesting. What you said about Nickelback. I've obviously said I only like the first album, like many other bands. It's not just Nickelback. But I've heard no hype about it.
You said this last week. You're the one album guy.
Yeah. But I've not really heard any hype about them, probably because of the stigma about liking Nickelback. But like, if I had heard people talking about singles from later albums, I might have gone, I'll go and have a listen to that. Oh, you obviously got Photograph and stuff like that. Actually, I do like some of their singles, from some of their earlier singles. I haven't heard anything about them or any kind of hype about them for years now.
Well, there's that meme. There was a meme I put up the other day because Nickelback keep getting heavier and heavier.
Okay.
Like now their albums are like, they've got some double bass pedaling parts. Their guitars are like really heavy. And there's that I put up a great meme the other day. I can't remember what the picture. It was a picture of Joe Rogan looking really confused. And it said, weird that old metalcore bands, obviously talking about like Bring Me the Horizon and that, are becoming arena bands, and Nickelback are slowly becoming a metalcore band.
Yeah.
It's just like starting to shift around the other way, and I thought that was a fucking great meme. I was cracking up at that. That was brilliant.
I didn't see that. I'm gonna have to go.
Did you not see that? I put that up. I thought, that's a good one. I should have sent it to you directly. Sorry.
Did you put it up as a story or something?
I put it up as a story. Yeah.
Okay, I don't really look at stories.
Oh, okay. I'll send it to you. It's cool. Great meme. But yeah, it just talks about, you know, all these old metalcore bands slowly becoming like Nickelback, and Nickelback are slowly becoming a metalcore band because they just keep getting heavier and like if you listen to their last one, Feed the Machine,
I will,
and you listen to Silver Side Up, it's just like, wow. You know, no, you're not like, you know, they're not like screaming or anything, but I mean, just music and production wise, it's just got a lot of oomph to it, and the guitars are really, really distorted, even though they've still got their sort of nice songs that they make as well. So I always thought that was really weird, but yeah, I think Nickelback are great. But anyway, let's stop. We'll do a Nickelback podcast or something because we keep saying it on this channel. I'm sure loads of people have switched off the second we said it. But yeah, so they've sold a hell of a lot of records, and it's that's mind-boggling in itself. I mean, you know, like we said, Slipknot, 30 million albums. I mean, that's crazy. That is crazy for a band of guys in boiler suits that wear masks. It's ludicrous.
Yeah,
absolutely ludicrous. Like, have you seen on Facebook? I'll send you the link. There's this guy from a band, and he's pretending to be. It says like what it must have been like being a sound man for Slipknot in the early 2000s. And it is one of the best things you'll ever watch.
I have not seen that either.
I'll send it to you. I'll send the link to Ad, and he'll put it in the link description of the podcast.
Cool.
You guys have to watch it. It's brilliant. It's just him going, right, okay, he's got the microphone. He's all right, everyone on stage, can all the rest of you get off? Oh, you're all in the band. What, all 9 of you? And then he goes, excuse me, can you move that beer keg off of the stage, please? We're trying to play. I'm sorry, what? Oh, you're going to use that in the act, right? You're hitting it with a baseball bat. It's just so good because obviously at the time this is exactly what the soundmen would have been like. They had no idea what was happening.
Yeah,
it's great, honestly. I won't ruin it too much, but it is very funny.
Awesome.
But anyway, yeah. So you know, Roadrunner Records done fantastically. They're still doing great now. Like we said, we're going to do a podcast on making money from records and all sorts of stuff. Obviously, they still get a hell of a lot of Spotify plays. A lot of their artists still have millions and millions of listeners on Spotify. So I'm sure they are still making good money somehow. And I'm sure, obviously, they've got big touring bands still on their label. Nickelback still tour. Slipknot still tour. Trivium, and they do big tours and stuff. So, yeah. But one thing I do want to talk about is the criticisms of the label. Now, we've talked about how good the label's been, how it affected music, how important the label was. But also, we just talked about Nickelback and Slipknot. Now, some of the bands that have been on there haven't had such a good time on the label. Now, it's a double-edged sword because if bands like Nickelback and Slipknot are selling loads of records, that means your label's making money and you can sign more artists. Now, some of those artists obviously won't sell as many records. Unfortunately, the criticisms of them is that their main cash cows, being Slipknot, Nickelback, and a handful of others, have been treated very well, got very good promotion, and have basically just had a good time. Now, other bands, unfortunately, haven't had the same sort of love. They didn't get, like we talked about the ones last time that, you know, some artists that no one knows who they are, even now, because they weren't pushed. They didn't get the magazine covers. They didn't get the exposure. They didn't get the right tours. So they haven't done as well as they could do with every band. I would say, looking at lists, they've done great with most of them, probably a lot better than some other labels, but there are bands on there that have probably suffered from being on Roadrunner more than being with someone else. And that's unfortunate because, like I said before, getting signed to Roadrunner must be a fantastic day for your band.
Yeah.
Because it's such a recognised label. They've done such great stuff, had such a great history, but they couldn't make everyone a success, unfortunately. And it's evident to see. Everyone knows Slipknot and all the big bands, but there's bands on there, and still to this day, people don't know who the hell they were, or even then they didn't know who the hell they were because they didn't see them in magazines or hear them on the radio or see any music videos. So it's not all smiles and great stuff. I might delve into that stuff a little bit more and maybe report back one day if I get some stories or accounts from certain people. It didn't say that there was anyone particular that said these things. I think it was just a generalization because a lot of people that had been part of the label had said it before. So, but I guess you're going to get that with any major label. I mean, like I was saying before, I don't know anyone that's had something positive to say about a major record label that they've had dealings with. And it's like any other, music is a business now.
Yeah.
I say now, it's been a business for like 50, 60 years. But I mean, it works as a business. And sometimes to get to where you've got to be, you've got to play the game. And if you're not good at playing the game, you're not going to get very far. I know that's really terrible because art shouldn't be that way. But the music industry has been this way for a long time. So sometimes you've got to suck it up and play the game, unfortunately. So that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, and obviously what that game is what we're going to be looking into, because I don't have a clue what you're talking about, really.
Yeah. We're going to go into all that. I mean, from being in, local bands, I've got a good insight into the sort of low-level stuff. Obviously, we've spoken to Leader about some stuff. I'd love to get him back on and talk more in detail about dealings that their band had with labels and stuff. And, maybe we can get a bit more insight into that kind of world and understand how it works. But even on the small levels that I've done, there's so much you need to do, and you need to know the right people, and you need to be playing the right gigs. It's a really big hustle being in a band. You've really got to sell yourself, especially now with social media. The whole sort of world has become so oversaturated with bands. You've got to find a way to stand out and push away from the rest. You could literally be the most talented band with the best songs, but if someone is in there with the right person or playing the right gig and you're not, you won't get noticed, and they will. You could be 10 times as talented. That's just the way it works. That is the industry.
Yeah, I think I heard.
But anyway, we won't go too much into that. Sorry, what were you going to say?
No. Yeah, I was going to say I've heard before. I think it was on a podcast. Someone said that it is not the kind of industry that the most natural people rise to the top. The most talented rise to the top, even like sports. It pretty much is, Because you can tell
a lot of the time, yeah.
But with music, it's like you said, you've got to be at the right place, the right time. There's going to be fantastic bands out there that not many people have ever even heard of.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I don't think that the cream rises to the top actually works as a saying for music.
No,
because the cream doesn't always rise to the top. The cream sometimes stays at the bottom or goes in the middle somewhere.
Yeah.
It doesn't always go. Sometimes it does. Sometimes you do see bands and you're like, yeah, these guys deserve to be where they are.
Yeah.
But then some bands you listen, you think, why are these guys not huge? They're incredible, because it's just the way the business is. It sucks.
Yeah, I mean, raunchy should be much
Wow,
bigger.
come on, raunchy. Hashtag raunchy, yeah?
Yeah.
Just do it. Raunchy band. Don't hashtag raunchy, because it will come up with all sorts of stuff.
We weren't following raunchy on Instagram until the other day when I tried searching for them. I was my second attempt. I had to go to their Facebook to find out exactly what their Instagram was, because the first search wasn't raunchy.
No,
not the band
not
raunchy anyway. But yeah, I think I'm going to try and talk about raunchy every single episode at some point somehow.
Wicked. We'll do We'll do part, not a whole episode. We'll do part of an episode. Me and you will list our favorite raunchy albums in order.
Yeah,
just to get it off of our chests. Yeah.
Awesome.
FYI, everyone go listen to raunchy. So criticism stuff. So we've gone past that. You know, we know that that's going to happen with big labels. But overall, I think they've got a very positive outlet for such a big label.
Yeah.
So.
Sorry. Yeah, there was something I was going to say about that as well. Actually, it's what I said to you a few episodes back. Like, I noticed on their website a band called 40 Below Summer, and I was like, why have I never heard of these before? And like you said, it seems like they just don't push as many bands as hard as some of the better bands, or not better, bigger. Bigger is not the right word either. As some other bands.
It's just some bands, if like Slipknot could have been a flash in the pan. We all know that. They like we said, they got huge so quickly. They could have been a flash in the pan.
Yeah.
The second album, they could have never made Iowa. They could have made something horrendous, and then they would have gone nowhere. But they're really good. So they stayed. Do you know what I mean? They're a fantastic band.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, I think all the chemistry's got to be right at the right time.
Yeah.
Just for a band to just pop, everything has to be right.
Have you ever seen The Incredibles? You probably have.
Yeah, God, a long time ago.
Yeah, the villain's idea in that is to make everybody superheroes, which means nobody will be superheroes. And I suppose that's kind of what Roadrunner are doing. They're like, oh, we can't push everyone because they'd all be rubbish if I do.
That's true. Yeah, God, I'd love to speak to someone who worked for Roadrunner. That would be fun. If anyone is listening to this and they've just Googled it or whatever, if you had any dealings with Roadrunner, no matter what band or in what capacity, we would love to hear from you, because having it insight into that would be absolutely unreal. But we're gonna delve into all sorts of music industry stuff in another episode. So basically, obviously, the label's been going for like 40 years now. It's insane. But for their 25th anniversary, they done something I'm not sure anyone else has ever done. I might be wrong on that. It was organised to be one album, all original songs, with musicians that past and present that had been on the label, to do one album together. That in itself is an insane feat. And it turns out it was 57 different musicians from 45 bands, past and present, on one album, all recording together and making tracks. So they made 18 tracks in the end. And I can tell you right now, the album is wicked. There is so many good songs on it for just all these random musicians getting together. It's actually nuts how good this album is, because it should sound rubbish, but it's not rubbish. But the reason it sounds so good is they thought, right, how can we take all of these musicians and have some sort of order to it? So they chose 4 team captains. So each team captain was responsible for recording a certain amount of tracks, producing them, and sort of, just being the captain, helping write the songs and helping get everyone together. So there was Slipknot's Joey Jordison. He was captain number 1. Then you had Matt Heafy from Trivium, Dino Carreras from Fear Factory, and Rob Flynn from Machine Head. So they were the 4 captains, and then everyone sort of worked with them.
Yeah, you said 14 a minute ago.
What?
You said 14 a minute ago. I thought I read it was
Sorry,
4.
I meant 4. 4 team Sorry. 4 team captains.
Okay. No, you did say that right. You said 4 team captains. I thought you said 14 captains. 4
team captains, not 14 captains. So those 4. So, Dino, Joey, Matt, and Rob. So they were the team captains.
Yeah.
The entire documentary is on YouTube.
Is it?
You can literally watch Roadrunner United. The whole documentary about it shows all of the musicians in the studio, all of them making all the tracks. It is awesome because there are so many people in it from so many different bands. It's amazing. And you see all of them in the studio, hanging out together, having a laugh. Oh, it's amazing, honestly. Go check it out if you're a fan of Roadrunner or just studio things in general. It's all on YouTube. Just type in Roadrunner Records or Roadrunner United and it will come up.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's worth a shout. The album's worth a shout as well. It's got some fantastic tracks on it. And it's what a great idea. I mean, why did no one else think of doing that? It's so cool, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, it was ridiculous. But I think, only Roadrunner could get away with doing it because of how big they were, But at the time, there's probably other record labels now that could probably do it.
Oh, definitely. I think it's just because you saw that sort of togetherness. And like I said, whenever an album would come out, you'd be like, oh, Roadrunner. Oh, that's on Roadrunner. Listen to that and listen to that. And they had so many cool artists, like past and present.
Yeah.
Such a cool thing. So go and check that out. Like, it's well worth it. Another thing I wanted to talk about was I was just looking around on the Wikipedia and I was like, oh yeah, what else have they done? Because it said like other stuff or whatever. They've actually released some film soundtracks.
Have they?
And I thought, that's awesome. Huh. And they're 3 very films of the time, but they're also 3 awesome soundtracks.
One would have been Resident Evil, wasn't it? Was that?
I can't believe you just guessed it. Yeah, Resident Evil is one of them.
Yeah, I knew it was one of them.
That's awesome. Yeah, so the original Resident Evil movie, not the game, obviously.
What were the other ones? I don't think I'm going to get the other 2.
Have a guess. And one of them, I remembered people talking about how awesome the soundtrack was at the time.
No.
And being like, that's
Queen
sick.
of the Damned?
No. That's a hell of a good soundtrack, but no.
They don't do that anymore. Well, they might do. It's not something I've noticed, but they used to release an album of the soundtrack, didn't they? And sometimes it would just be all metal songs.
They still do.
Oh,
they still do that.
Okay.
You still have soundtracks on Spotify, yeah.
Cool. Okay.
I don't know whether bands. I mean, I know some bands do stuff, but I don't know whether they released them all on a compilation. Like you said, like a film compilation.
Maybe you just don't know to look for them. I suppose I would have seen them in places like HMV and gone, look at this. There's an album for this movie.
Yeah, that's true.
Whereas you probably wouldn't search for it on Spotify. Well, some people might, but yeah.
I listen to a lot of that stuff on there. I listen to a lot of Vangelis stuff. He does a lot of Tangerine Dream. They do movie soundtracks and stuff. John Carpenter, I listen to all of John Carpenter's stuff. That's all on Spotify.
Yeah,
because he's basically a musician rather than a movie director now. Actually, the film Ghost from Mars, John Carpenter film, horrendous movie, but Anthrax recorded all the music for that.
Okay.
And John Carpenter said, "I'm going to give you all these tracks. Can you do them as a band instead of opposed to like synth stuff?" Made them way worse, but it's interesting.
Yeah.
Made them twice really bad. But yeah, can you think of any other movies you think that will be? So Resident Evil? No.
I don't
Okay, so Resident Evil, Spider-Man, the first one, with Tobey Maguire.
Makes sense, yeah.
It had that huge Nickelback hit on it.
Hero, yeah. It wasn't Nickelback, it was Chad Kroeger featuring Josie Scott.
Was that what it was?
Yeah, because Josie Scott was from Saliva.
Okay, I thought it was Nickelback, but it's not, is it? No. Okay, so there you go. So yeah, that was a massive hit at the time, wasn't it?
It was, and Chad Kroeger screwed over Josie Scott on that.
Why?
He only got like $5,000 for doing it, even though it was meant to be equal. I think they've been very bitter about it since, and they wrote a song about it.
Oh wow!
On the Survival of the Sickest album. Well, not about it, but there was a few lines in the song,
just pointing towards it, going,
"Yeah,
that happened."
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's a shame. That's a good. I'll look at these soundtrack, but this is the one I remember people telling me about.
Yeah.
Freddy versus Jason soundtrack.
Yeah, I forgot that.
And I remember at the time, I remember watching the film, and it was like Mushroom Head, Slipknot, Static X. Like the soundtrack was sick, so sick. But obviously, it was put out by. It wasn't all Roadrunner artists, but the soundtrack itself was put out by Roadrunner, and it had Roadrunner artists on it.
Yeah.
So the film is all right, I guess. I like Nightmare on Elm Street films a lot more than I like Friday the 13th films. There are some good Friday the 13th films. Jason Lives is a good one. And Dream Warriors.
Dream Warriors was a good one.
Dream Warriors, Nightmare on Elm Street Dream Warriors is so sick. They're all good. They all have their merits, but yeah.
Sorry. I need to take this that way.
Go.
I haven't seen hardly any Halloween films, hardly any Friday the 13th films. I've seen like a couple Freddy Krueger films. That's it. I haven't seen hardly any of them.
Well, if you want to watch a good... Okay, just I'll say this now, right? I am a bit of a movie buff. Just to put it out there now. I love horror and sci-fi and all that. I am a bit of a nerd. So if you want to watch a good Friday the 13th movie, watch part 4 or part 5.
Okay.
Part 4 is probably one of the best slasher films ever. It's like the most concise, best Friday the 13th movie. And 5, Jason Lives, is the best well-made movie. It was made by a director that loved all the old Universal monster movies.
Okay.
So it's kind of a bit more arty.
Yeah.
So those two are great. And Halloween, I would say, first one and third one, you don't have to watch any of the others. I wouldn't waste my time. If you're not like a massive horror fan or a massive fan of Halloween itself, don't bother.
Yeah.
Just watch 1 and 3, 1 and done. That's it.
Yeah.
Don't need to watch any others.
Yeah. Or if you want just a general horror film, watch Hosts.
Oh, yeah. Watch Hosts. Go check out Hosts. Great film by some great people. Well, one of them's a bit questionable, but it's good. But yeah, we'll have to, like, I know we're obviously just talking about music and stuff, but we'll have to talk about movies at some point because, I mean, that just, they're so close, music and film. So we're going to have to do just a, like a one-off movie thing, or I don't know what we'll do. We'll do something to do with films at some point. Yeah. Or soundtracks or whatever. We can do whatever we want to do with that. I think that would be really cool. Mix it up a bit.
Yeah, like you said, around this kind of time, all the films were getting songs written for them. I don't know if they still do, or if they just have like just proper scores. But it's not as big a thing. It doesn't seem to be as a big a thing as it was back then to have like a AAA metal band write a song for you.
Yeah, I know people still make soundtrack. I know some artists, pop artists and stuff, work on stuff. I think Pharrell's worked on some movie stuff. There's loads of people that do, obviously, but I'm not sure it's quite in the band capacity that it was during this time. It was quite a regular thing, wasn't it? After every film, you'd have, like, I remember that terrible Dracula 2000. It's horrendous but great at the same time.
I quite enjoyed that. I think it was
Watch it again. It's not great, but it's great. It's great because it's not great. It wasn't even great then. It was a cool movie, but it was very 2000. And then, like, as soon as the last scene ends, One Step Closer by Linkin Park comes on, and you're like, yes, sick. Like, it's just so what used to happen, but now you don't. No, I don't notice that as much.
No, I was thinking of the latest one where they were trying to expand the whole universe of monsters.
Oh, Dracula Untold.
That one. I quite like that one.
Not Dracula. Dracula 2000 and Dracula Untold are two very different movies. That's it. You know what? Back to back now. I'm watching them back to back. Cool. I watched Dracula 2000, then Dracula Untold. There you go. That's my weekend.
Also had the Scorpion King. I'll never ever forget that video and the song with that video.
So good. Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, you're right.
For anybody who doesn't know, that's Godsmack, I Stand Alone. We should probably be better at that and not just assume people know what we're talking about.
That's a big tune, yeah. Go check it out. Godsmack is sick. Actually, I watched Godsmack at Download 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were wicked.
Awesome.
They were really good.
I don't think I did. No, I didn't.
Okay. Yeah, they was not that I thought they were going to be bad. I mean, it's kind of weird. I saw them in. I don't really want. I don't like saying stuff like this because it makes me sound old when I'm not old. Your mid-30s is not old, yeah. But I'm sorry, that's the age I am. I can't help it. When I saw them in 2019, the last time I had seen them, they supported Limp Bizkit in 2001 at Wembley Arena.
Jesus.
So I'd seen them literally like 18 years apart.
Yeah.
And it was just fun. Yeah, it was cool. Sorry, just shows how old I am.
Sorry.
Yeah, so really that's all of the sort of really the rest of the subjects I have to talk about Roadrunner. I've got a few other things to sort of add to all the stuff that I've said. One of the coolest things is all of the stuff we've talked about, the label, the bands. There is actually a full documentary about Roadrunner Records being made as we speak.
Oh, really?
To be released in 2023, and it's called The History of Roadrunner Records.
Aptly named.
So,
awesome.
Yeah, I mean, that's all you need, isn't it, really? So they said it's going to go literally from the beginning, right through up to today.
That's
so I hope
awesome.
I hope it's not like a little half an hour thing. I hope it's like a proper 2-hour documentary with loads of detail and stuff that we don't know, because that would be really cool. So
Yeah.
hopefully, if we're still doing the podcast, then we can mention it, and that would be. I'd love to see that personally. I think that would be fantastic. So yeah, apparently March 2023 is the slated release, but they never stick to that. But I'm guessing some point in 2023, it will be coming out and stuff. So overall, do you have anything to say about Roadrunner as a whole? Is there any sort of comments you want to make, or anything you want to say about it? Or do you have any ideas where they're going? Or do you think they're going to last? Do you think they'll last another 20, 30 years? Or
Well, I'm surprised that they're not as big as they were. We had somebody comment on our Instagram, actually, when I first put the post up about it, saying like, oh yeah, they were huge between 95 and 2000. Well, it was like mid-90s to mid-2000s. And I was like, obviously, the documentary that they make might explain it a bit more, but
yeah,
like, where did they drop the ball? When you're like a powerhouse like they were, it just feels like they could have done anything, and it would have gone well. You know, they could have gone, well, we're going to put some more money into this band and push them, and because it's Roadrunner Records, it probably would have done well. Obviously, it's not anywhere near as easy as I think it should be.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I want to know why they aren't as big anymore.
For me, I would say on that point, up to like 2005 or 6, I was listening to a lot of Roadrunner stuff.
Yeah.
And after that, either I wasn't listening to Roadrunner bands anymore, or I just wasn't checking. You know, it's the big ones I was, like your Slipknot and all that sort of stuff, Killswitch, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I don't remember after 2005 or 6 saying, oh, this Roadrunner album's coming out, that's coming out, that's coming out. So I think there was a point, because they got bought out in 2010. So it must have been between those years. And I wouldn't say drop the ball, but they obviously have had big bands on there the whole time. But yeah, like you said, there must have been a point when they thought, holy hell, we're going to get bought out. Why are they buying us out?
Yeah.
Because, like we said, what was the number that we went back to? $73 million is a lot to pay for a record. I'm sure they could have gone it alone, but at the time they probably felt like, if we get bought out, maybe that'll elevate us more. But obviously now they're a sub label.
Yeah.
You know, if you look at it, it will say Roadrunner Records, but somewhere else it will also say Warner Music, whereas before it would just say Roadrunner Records.
Yeah.
So that's quite strange. That's a good point, actually. I think maybe the documentary might go into them being bought out in a little bit more detail.
Yeah. Because, I mean, it's going off a little bit, but it's a similar kind of thing, which I also don't understand. Like, Blizzard got bought out by Activision, or partnered with Activision. And I think a lot of people questioned it and said, well, why did that happen? They were a huge company. They didn't need to. They could have gone it alone, like you said, with like similar to Roadrunner, and surely they would have had the money to do it. They had probably plenty of money coming in, but there's obviously so many things in these industries that we don't understand. So
yeah,
it'd be interesting to find out.
Yeah, I think so. I think that would be fantastic to have a little bit more insight as to, like you said, why?
Yeah.
when you've got that many bands, you've done so well, you've still got bands making money in the label. Why would you be sold? That doesn't really make. And I'll try and delve into that on the internet a little bit more, so we can get a little bit more information from that. Yeah, that would be great. But yeah, I think hopefully their documentary will sort of just strengthen a lot of stuff we've said. Yeah. And I hope they just don't put it all, nice and shiny and say the record label was great and all that. I hope they do go into stuff where they had difficulty. Like they had like 5 offices in 5 different countries. Now they've got 1 in 1 country. Yeah. So they obviously scale back and people lost their jobs and all sorts of stuff. So it would be great if they went into a bit of realism and actually said what happened rather than sort of sugarcoating it for everyone. Yeah.
Do you know if King 810, if that's how you say those numbers, were on Roadrunner?
I think they were. I think I saw them on the list at some point.
Because they were a flash in the pan. I like that saying. I've never heard of that saying before you just said that.
Sorry.
It's cool. Well, as far as I'm aware, they were massively hyped when they toured with Slipknot a few years back, and I haven't really heard anything about them recently. I haven't seen them on.
Yeah, they must have been on Roadrunner then.
Yeah.
I don't think they are still. Let me look at the list. Doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like they're still on there. So yeah, no, yeah, I heard a lot about them. Yeah. I listened to it and didn't like it at all.
Yeah, I didn't.
I was not a fan, but
but they just sort of came from nowhere.
Leader loves them. He was always going, "Oh yeah, King 8110 is sick," and I'm like, I don't get it.
No,
I just didn't get it. Didn't get it. But yeah, like you said, there's tons of bands on that list where you're like, oh, they were on it.
Yeah.
Oh, they were on it. Oh, I heard of those. So, like you said, when people are on the label, 90% of the time they do a good job of promoting them, and you can see that from the bands they've got on there at the moment. They're all bands doing really well. But yeah, so I've really enjoyed talking about this because this is something that's sort of close to my heart with all of and close to all the industry. And like we said, it's this label has had just such a huge effect on the metal and the metal world and alternative world. It's insane. It's part of the history of that genre of music, and it always will be. It's written in there. Roadrunner, they were one of the biggest labels. They put out some of the best stuff. So it's great to finally get around to talking about them and just going into a little bit more detail. So we'll talk we'll go off and do some other stuff now. But yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed that. And like we said before, we might do some other labels. Like the biggest one I can think of at the moment would be Nuclear Blast.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
I'll go through and have a look, and we'll discuss if we want to do another special if people enjoyed it. If you did, just say, yeah, I enjoyed it, do another one, and we'd love to go through and talk about some other labels.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
That's all I have to say.
Yeah,
that's it.
I thought I cut you off then, and you were about to say something else.
No, I just stopped talking.
Okay. There was something I was about to say then, and then that just made me forget it.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
I'll go back in time. Hold on. And that's it.
That's it.
No, that's it.
No, it's a little bit before that. The Roadrunner United album, though, that was incredible. Like you said, I wasn't actually too keen on the songs. I think there was one they released from it called "The End," I believe, which I thought was amazing. But just the fact that they did that, just like you said, was absolutely amazing. And everybody knew about it. Everybody who was into any kind of alternative music knew about it. And I think that helped them sort of build their name as well and get their name out there. And I do wonder if, why was their name bigger than any other record labels? Was it just like a way they promoted it? Did they deliberately put Roadrunner on a few, before like a few album adverts or something like that? I don't know.
I think the main reason the label was so good is because across the board, the quality of releases was very high.
Yeah.
There's not much on there that's rubbish.
Yeah, but just the reason why people knew their name in the first place is what I'm curious about.
Knows.
Because I think a lot of companies probably wouldn't go, this is, I don't know what Iron Maiden were on. They were on EMI for a while, weren't they? EMI presents Iron Maiden's 16th album or something like that. Maybe Roadrunner did something like that. They made sure their name was bigger than the band's name or something like that on a few marketing.
Yeah, I mean their promotion team in the early days probably deserved a medal. They done a fantastic job of presenting, like you said, people on Roadrunner. You knew Killswitch were on Roadrunner.
Yeah.
You knew Crazy Fist were on Roadrunner. You knew Slipknot were on Roadrunner. Why did we know that?
Yeah.
Because the label was really good at promoting the fact that these bands were on Roadrunner Records. So yeah, but like you said, I mean, the only one I can think of in the same instance is I always notice when something's on Nuclear Blast, or they're like, oh, they're on Nuclear Blast. Or people, I don't know, some labels, maybe it's the way they're run, maybe it's the relationship they have with the bands, and plus, good promotion and pushing that, hey, this album is on this label. Yeah. And it's kind of like, this label's good. If this album's on this label, it's going to be a good album. So yeah, very cool.
Yeah, I've got nothing else to add. I don't know.
No, that's like I said. I really enjoyed talking about that.
Yeah,
so
me too.
That was very, very cool. Hopefully, we'll do it again soon.
Yeah. And another thing I actually thought about while you're talking about the Roadrunner United things and like getting all of the other bands in was like it's like they treated them. They're all colleagues to each other, even though they're in different bands. They work for the same boss. They're colleagues, whereas maybe other labels don't do that. They go like, right, you're over here, you're over here.
Yeah, definitely. I bet that was a nice thing to bring the people all together.
Yeah.
Because just because you're on the same label as a band doesn't mean you're going to tour with that band or have any contact with that band.
No.
Especially on a major label. On a smaller label, it would be different. But yeah, I think they've done a fantastic job of sort of, like you said, a feeling of community.
Yeah.
You knew all these cool bands, and you knew they were all mates. You saw them in the magazines together, gigs, on the documentaries. You could tell they were all like, yeah, we're with Roadrunner. We're like a family. So
yeah, awesome,
very cool. Yeah.
Well, we've probably got a little bit. We've kind of finished a little bit early, although we haven't finished. You know, I'm sure there's plenty of tangents we can go off on if we want to. I want to take it back to films a little bit. There's something I've wanted to talk about for a little while about that Download Festival this year, because they obviously always have the cinema on, and they have Kiss playing next year.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a film you can think of that would be perfect
for Kiss?
Please tell me you've seen it.
Yeah, Detroit Rock City.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a great film.
And
it's a film that no one's seen for some reason, even though it's brilliant.
No one's seen.
No.
Yeah, no.
I don't know anyone that knows that film.
I fucking love it. I've watched it 20, 30 times.
Yeah,
maybe
it's
more.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're but just put things in perspective, sorry people listening, there is a film that was not made by Kiss, but funded by Kiss, about Kiss, called Detroit Rock City, and it's a very good film. Really good.
Yeah. If you haven't seen it, you should go and see it. If you haven't seen it, the Download team should put it on the cinema this year, because it's just the most perfect film for this year, but I bet they bloody don't.
Kiss seem like the sort of people that would be like, yeah, you can play our movie if you pay us.
Maybe,
fair play, man. Everyone's got to make money. Whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be very cool. I totally agree with you. That'd be wicked.
Cool. Yeah, that's something I thought about for a while, and I thought, should I try and contact people to get them to put that on? Because it's always music kind of related films they put on, like Wayne's World, like probably Spinal Tap.
Oh, great film.
I've only seen half of that. I watched half of that in college.
One of the funniest films ever made.
Is it?
Oh, unreal.
They it's one of those lessons where they didn't have anything planned, so they were just like, oh, we'll watch this as Spinal Tap. But we didn't finish it. We watched it for one lesson. We needed 2 lessons to finish it, and they never.
What sort of school did you go to? Who just says
it was college?
Let's just take up the rest of the lesson. Even college. Oh, let's just watch this is Spinal Tap. That sounds like the greatest lesson of all time.
It was good. Yeah, but
fantastic.
But yeah, so I never finished it. I never seen the end of it, and that was like probably come up to 20 years now, close to it, 17, 18 years. So I made Vicky watch it this year, earlier in May, when we went to Lyme Regis for the weekend, and I made her watch it, and she thought it was hilarious. I was like, great, because this is a wonderful film, really is. Awesome.
And the weird thing is if you don't know what Spinal Tap is, it's like a mockumentary about a band in the 80s. And the weird thing is people from Maiden, Priest, all these other rock bands have said they pretty much got it spot on.
Really?
All this, all the blasé record label stuff, and then all of the stuff about the covers, and you can't do this on a cut, and all that, and all the guys from the time were just like, it's taking the piss out of the time, but a lot of it is perfectly true to life, and it's exactly how it was. So it kind of gives the film even more kudos, because you're like, wow, some of this stuff was actually pretty true. And like the guys from Spinal Tap themselves have said, yeah, it was based on all these sort of British metal bands. They just didn't have a clue what they were doing, and that's the whole film, basically. It's fantastic. Such a good premise for a movie. And they still play gigs of Spinal Tap.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say that. They actually became a band because of the film.
Yeah. Yeah, the first and second albums are incredible. I love Spinal Tap. They're brilliant.
Awesome. As we're still a little bit early, there's one other thing that has been, I suppose, on my mind, or it's been written in my notes, just sort of waiting for the right time to come up. And have you ever noticed bands put a weird song on the penultimate track on their album? I've not noticed it for a long time now, but think of Hybrid Theory, where it's got that weird Mr. Hahn song.
Yeah.
And I noticed it a lot at the time. There was a lot of other albums had it. And I did wonder if that was done deliberately as the second from last song.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I think bands have a tendency to put the stranger tracks later on the album.
Yeah.
I think that's just a thing that musicians generally tend to do because they think that if you're this deep into the album, you're a fan and you'll enjoy the stuff that's not quite as commercial. But yeah, no, I get that totally.
But I think, like I've said to you, I kind of drift off towards the end of the album. But if a song like that comes on, it always kicks me up the ass and says, the album's finishing soon, so I need to pay attention again.
Oh, nice.
And I wondered if they had done any psychology and, like I said, did that deliberately because of that reason. Or, I don't know. I'm sure, I'm thinking Limp Bizkit did it with one of their albums. I need to...
Is it, yeah, I like that. Is it because we've listened to music for so long and that's the norm, that's what we expect, so that's how albums are written? Or is there something to do with people and the way they perceive the tracks that the weird stuff comes later? That's actually a really interesting sort of observation as to why that happens.
Yeah, cause and effect sort of thing.
Yeah, I like that, man. I'm going to have to go back through some albums that I know that have got weird songs second to last or last and see if there's like a trend or anything. That's cool. I might delve into that a little bit deeper, do some research.
Awesome. Yeah, cool. Well, yeah, are we done? I think we're done. This is quite a short episode, but it's fine.
What's quite short for us?
Yeah.
4 hours?
Yeah. To be fair, it's not quite a short episode. It's short for us.
Short for us, yeah.
Okay. So I'm not going to do campsite fuckery this time again. Should I do a campsite fuckery? I'm going to do a campsite fuckery. Just a really quick one because I might forget about it, and because I was going to do it last episode. It's all about 2000. I think it was 2004, because you asked me in that. Oh no, fuck it. Let's say the right thing. Campsite Fuckery is a section of the show that we talk about any funny stories or interesting things that have happened around the campsite at Download. If you want to share your memories with us, that's absolutely fine. You can do. I'll go over all the ways you can at the end of the show. It's just, like I said, just one really quick thing I want to talk about because we were talking about Download 2004 recently, and it's something that Jacobs, a friend of mine, reminded me of that year.
Okay, cool.
Because you asked if I went to see Machine Head, and I was just like, I don't know, I don't remember. But he said, yes, we definitely did go to see Machine Head, because we got quite close, and I remembered after he said it, we got quite close to the front, and remember we would have only been like 17 at this point, 17 to 18, and 2 circle pits opened up either side of us, so there was like a row of 2 people in between these circle pits, and we were in that row, and it was pretty fucking scary, I tell you. And yeah, that's something that I've always said. I've said that a few times, but I didn't remember what year it was from. So
nice.
Yeah, it was.
That's awesome. So you did see Machine Head, like prime.
Well,
through your ashes as well.
Yeah, I saw them probably in my peripheral vision while I was trying to watch, because
avoid.
Scared shitless of all the big ass men running around in a circle next to me. But yeah, it's strange, like where the gigs that I used to go to when I was younger, like here in Bridgewater, the pits weren't violent at all. It was just like pushing each other around, sort of shoulder barging each other. And I know the pits at Download Festival weren't violent back then. They couldn't have been. You didn't have like people doing spin kicks, but they were more. They were not more violent, but more damaging if you got in
a bit more aggression.
Yeah.
Involved.
Perfect. Yeah. like that. But I couldn't put my finger on why, because, like you said, I suppose it was just shoulder barging, but a lot fucking harder, maybe.
Yeah. No, I get that totally. I think that as well. I think that, I don't know, maybe it's outside, it's a bit bigger.
Maybe.
People are just, but no one's going to get seriously hurt. And if anyone ever does get hurt, it's 99% of the time it's totally by accident. It's just people having a great, people are not beating each other up, pushing each other around, 1 minute, and then the next minute they'll be hugging, singing along to a track. That's what's so fantastic about metal festivals. But yeah, no, I get that, and especially, not sure if it's that true now. I don't get close enough to see.
No, me either.
anymore. But yeah, they definitely were more aggressive. I think just because it was bigger festival, more people.
Yeah.
And you'd probably have all of the pit people from each section of the UK at once. So people would just be like, right, just open this pit up, man. And then the other guy's like, oh, you don't own this pit. And then, do you know what I mean? And then it would be tussling between who's the pit master, you'd always have the guy who stands in the middle and he's like, yeah, because he thinks he's king of the pit, and then someone else pushes him over, that kind of shit.
Yeah, I love that. That's awesome. Yeah,
that's what it was like.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe just our pits here weren't proper pits. People, I mean, because maybe people didn't know what. Well, no, I wouldn't say not proper pits. There was one time I told my friend to punch me in the face, and then I got scared. So I was just like, right, hold your elbow up, when I was headbanging into his elbow and to give myself a nosebleed because I was drunk and I was being a dickhead. So they weren't calm, they weren't soft.
But they were decent. Yeah. You don't need too much aggression in a pit.
No.
You don't want it to go too mental. I've been in some pits where I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get out of it. This is crazy. And then I've been in ones where I'm pushing everyone around. And then when you're in a circle pit, everyone, if when you see circle pits and you've never been in a circle pit before, you go, oh my God, this is going to be like a whirlwind. This is going to be insane. And then when you're actually in a circle pit, you're just basically doing the conga, but at a metal show.
Yeah.
That's all a circle pit is. Unless you get up to running speed, which happens not often in pits. Most of the time you're just doing a penguin walk behind the next person.
I've never thought about that, but that is so true.
Scary. That's all it is, dude. Metal's like, yeah, open up the circle pit. And it's just like, so we'll just walk behind each other. Is that what you want? And they're like, yeah, metal. And you're like, sweet, I'll walk behind this guy then. That's all pits are. That's it. That's why they're so fantastic, because they're so ridiculous.
Yeah.
But great.
I don't think I've ever been in a wall of death, not a proper one. Not like at a festival.
Oh, God. Back in the day, 2005-06, when I was going through my hardcore phase and I was metalcore, I was Caliban, Bleeding Through, so many bands, so many little walls of death, man. They were great. Good fun. You don't really, nothing really happens. You just kind of bash into them, hurt your shoulder a little bit, and then you just go back to the gig, I guess. They're not really that brutal. They look brutal, more brutal than they are. I guess some probably are, but I never got injured during one, so.
Yeah, cool. All right, well, yeah. Should we finish there?
Yeah, man.
Cool.
Yeah, man.
Thank you all for listening. We have been Dear Download. That's new. I'm going to see how that goes.
I like it.
Fucking lost it. I'm going to do that again. And I'm probably going to leave both in. Thank you all for listening. We have been Dear Download. And we will see you in 2 weeks, where we will be talking about some of the things we spoke about earlier on in the show. I'm not gonna get into all that again, but you've heard where we want to go with this. We don't know exactly what's going to be coming up. Any preferences?
I don't know. We said we're definitely doing a Christmas special. And did you say we got 3 or 4 before Christmas? 3.
2 before that episode.
So 3 including the Christmas one.
Yes, yeah. 3.
Okay, so for the other 2, we'll come up with something. We've had tons of ideas recently.
Yeah.
So we'll reveal what's next. I think we're going to do a music industry sort of special one.
Yeah.
And then we'll probably do something a little bit more broad. I don't know when we'll be going into the next. When are we going into Download 2005?
That's what I was just going to say, because that was obviously the first time you went, so there's probably loads of stuff you can talk about, unless you've forgotten all of it, like I have.
Yeah, we'll see if we want to do, or if we want to start the new year off with 2005. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll talk about it at some point. If you want to reach out to us, you can do. There's a few ways you can do it. We're Dear Download Podcast on most things: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Do you know what? I haven't even logged onto Twitter for a long time. It's rubbish. What was there? You can email us. We're Dear Download 2003. That's 2003@gmail.com. You can get hold of us on any of these things if you want to, send us any stories for campsite fuckery, or want to correct us on anything like that. And there's a couple of things you can do for us to help us out. We're telling your friends is by far the best thing you can do. Just helps us reach more people. Simon, where can people find you?
People can find me on Instagram as Fonzie_Simon. On Instagram, you will also find in my bio the link to my Twitch channel. I'm currently doing gaming every Tuesday night. Still currently just finishing off Half-Life and then moving on to Fallout New Vegas. Also, I have a YouTube channel, which is Simon Bond. So you can find me at any of those places. And you can talk to me about anything you want, or you can send me some stuff for the podcast, and I shall relay it to Adam.
Cool. And something I haven't said for a while actually, but I always put all of these links up in the episode notes anyway, so you should be able to find them quite easily. I think I've included your Twitch in there now. Yeah, I have.
Sweet.
Cool. Well, that's everything for this episode then, and I'm looking forward to so many things that we're going to do. When I have ideas, I just want to do them straight away. I need to do them. Oh, I didn't talk about the Download Festival board game that I want to make. Damn it. Well, there's another wait bait for you. If you want to hear about the Download Festival board game that's going to be better than the Download Festival Monopoly board game. Be the change you want to see and all that. You have to wait for another episode that I remember it, because there's no guarantee I'll remember next episode.
It's so true, but that's why this podcast is so great.
Yeah. It's just so laid back.
We're generally having a lot of fun doing this, like we say every episode. We got tons of cool ideas. They'll all be coming out, and we just we're always looking forward to the next one. So. Yeah, like Ad said, tell your friends, share whatever you can do to help us out if you've enjoyed this. But most importantly, just come back and listen to the next one if you've liked this one. It'd be fantastic to have you back.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. You're always saving my ass. Always got me back. Cool. That's goodbye from Simon then.
Goodbye.
And a goodbye from me. Goodbye.